Welcome to the Church of Brown, where I give impromptu, improvised sermons. My name is Ricky Brown. Let's get started. How are you? How are you going in life? Are things tough? What makes them tough? Are you tired? Are you bored? Life can be boring and tiring, but we have to meet that boredom and tiredness with energy. How do you do that? Well, you eat well and you exercise, but we all know that. That's the hard bit. I'm not good at that. But what we need is, we need direction. So you need a goal. You need something in your life to move for. You need meaning in your life. So that, for a lot of us, means faith, means God. For others, it might mean something else, but you need, and depending on what you choose as your framework for meaning, will change the outcomes of how well you live your life and how resilient you are. So it's good to have a higher power. It's good to not be the centre of your own universe for a multitude of reasons. What we have to do to maintain energy and excitement is a goal, have meaning, and to be moving towards something. So that goal, you got to be moving towards it. There's no use having a goal and ignoring it or making it so big that it's unachievable and you shy away from it every day. But it's also, that energy is something that we don't always feel. The world gets messy. There's entropy at play. And our house gets messy, our mind gets messy. And if we don't meet it with energy, if we don't take on the battle, if we don't fight, that entropy takes hold and things deteriorate fast. And that's when your life becomes in disarray and disorder. So we have to meet our life with energy, have a direction, have meaning, and you want to be passionate about your meaning and your direction. So that will give you that energy. It'll stop you from feeling it's all too much, it's all too hard, because a lot of times it is too hard. But you'll find that if you stay on top of things, if you meet your life with energy, and you try and be bold and have fervour and passion, then it becomes easier, because once the ball starts rolling, it keeps in its state. So the hard thing is when you lie down and you stop and you let entropy take over and things get disordered. What's hard is that getting up again, getting the energy to tackle things. And generally that means before you start on your whole life, you start on your house and your mind. So you start one or the other. Sometimes we have the energy to clean our house, sometimes we don't, like get things in order, because once things in order around us, it's easier to order our mind. Or sometimes we have to take the other approach where we try and order our mind. You might do a mind dump and write all the things you have to do and all the things you're thinking about and all the things you want, make a big list, and then you put them into categories. and you prioritise things. You put them in order of importance and impact and what means the most to you. And you then refine it in such a way that you know your next step, because that's what you need to know. You need to plan it all out, but you can't have that all in your head. Your brain can remember probably 7 things, so you don't want all that in your head. You want to just write it all out, put it in a nice way, and just have your next step or your next couple of steps, and then you move into action. And that might mean dealing with the most disordered stuff. But generally, if we're avoiding something big or something we're not good at, we need to get a piece of paper and write down all the steps we think it takes to do that thing, and then get down to the next step, what you have to do right now, and just say, I'm going to spend 5 minutes on that. And generally that's enough for you to get started and chip away at it. But when we're confused, we don't know where we're at. We've got no anchor. We need a direction and an anchor. So we've got to know that where we are and where we're going. And so we if we've got a next step, we know what's going on. So our brain's not full of psychic entropy where we don't know what's important. We don't know what to focus on. Everything's a mess and there's too much going on. And the other thing we have to do generally is simplify. We add, and then sooner or later you have to cut back. You have to decide. You have to look at things and go, what's more important? What means more to me? Or what can I put off? And what needs to be done now? So it might be that you've got something big in mind, a direction in life, a goal, but you're putting that off. That's you put that in future, and then you piss about on the little things, but you're not happy. You need to move into the state where you're chipping away at the big things. Sometimes it's a process and you're just not there yet and you have to leave it. But generally when you do it, you ever realise, oh, this wasn't for me, or it has to be adapted, like what you think originally is not quite what it turns out to be. And you might love it or you might not, or it might be right or it might be wrong. But you don't know until you start at it, and that takes courage. And generally, if something's too big and that's what you're scared of, you make it smaller. You break it down, or you make it a more achievable thing. And then if you can finish that achievable thing, then you can enlarge it. But we all need meaning, and we all need a direction, and to be properly anchored, that shouldn't be based on delusion, but sometimes delusion takes us places that others dare not tread, and we have breakthroughs because of that delusion. So that's hard to put into, like, I don't like the idea of delusions or thinking certain things, but if it's going to get you to the place, and that place is a good place, well, if you need to have a delusion, but as long as it's not a delusion that doesn't get you there, it's like the delusion of, like, when it's magical thinking and you're thinking your future or your what you're going to be is going to happen because it's going to come to you. It's going to knock on the door and say, here we are, you're the girl, you're the man, you're the woman. It doesn't happen that way. Generally, if you want to be something, you've got to identify yourself as the person to do it, because other people won't do that unless you've got a lucky parent who sees something in you or something. But then sometimes that's just steering you away from what's your true north is. So it really depends. Yeah. I don't know, that's all for today. That's good enough, isn't it? I'm only a few episodes in, so it doesn't have to be perfect. But that's just impromptu. I didn't know what I was going to talk about. I just talked.